Preface. What I learned from my father's writings. This book grows on you. I know because it grew on me. It took me about 15 years to understand common stocks and uncommon profits. When I first read the book, it made darned little sense. I was 8. It was a waste of the start of a perfectly good summer vacation. Too many big words that required I use a dictionary. Ugh. But it was my father's book, and I was proud of him. I had heard at school and from neighbors and had read in the local paper that his book was making a big splash. I was told that it was the very first investment book ever to have made the New York Times bestseller list, whatever that meant. I felt it was my absolute duty to read it. So I did, and when completed, I was glad to be finished and free for the summer. Who knew that I would later go on to found a large investment management firm serving thousands of clients, write my own books, and become the 6th longest-running columnist in Forbes magazine's formidable 80-plus-year history, or that I would write numerous annual, best of the year, investment book reviews and recommend dozens of books over the decades to readers. And, yes, maybe it helped en route that I could say I'd read my first investment book when I was 8, even if I didn't understand it. The book next seriously crossed my mind at age 20 as I faced college graduation. Father had offered me a job working with him and my older brother. Anxious, but skeptical, I was curious to see if this job was really an opportunity. So, I read Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits again. Reading about my father's 15 points to look for in a stock, I wondered if I could apply them to a local stock. If so, I thought this would affirm the benefit of working with my father. Well, it didn't work. There was a local publicly traded lumber stock, Pacific Lumber, that looked like a good profit opportunity. But the few folks I approached weren't impressed with some wannabe kid sleuth seeking competitive detail who was clearly ill-prepared to analyze or do anything with it. I didn't even know how to ask meaningful questions. After being shut out by the first few folks I approached with my fact-seeking questions, I gave up. But it showed me that I needed quite a bit of polishing. Working for my father was a bumpy ride, a bit like my first professional stock purchase, a reverse 10-bagger. It fell from 10 to 1. I tell you all this only so you can see that even a kid in his 20s, without a lifetime at the top of his school class, having never attended a big-name university, and with no major accomplishments under his belt to brag on, even that kid could go on and in just